Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome to this live session out of the blue. Been extremely busy, running a ragged business, second business, trying to start a third business. Anyway, in between all that, I've just about busted myself. Got up to level 50. Now, it's amazing actually. And you're probably thinking, why is that amazing? But other people 2 weeks ago, two and a bit weeks ago were level 60 and they're already raiding and they've already got themselves geared to certain levels, yada, yada, yada. And, well, that's great and all. But as you can see, my Warlock just turned to level 50 at the moment. And if we zoom out, the reason is I started off as a mage named Warlock. So I got him to level 34 pretty quick, pretty fast. He's got all the blue items you can imagine for that level range and dungeons. It's really easy, but he set me up and made a fair amount of gold, and I just thought, well, I'll just get the Warlock up to level 10 and the Warrior for a tank up to 10. And I got sidetracked. I got him to 10, I got him to 10, and I was doing the professions. And then I thought, and I got a bit carried away. So I was sort of jumping in between all three. And before I knew it, I was level 36 on the Warlock and still level 34 on the mage named Warlock, just to make that confusing. And I got the tank to 16, enough to get into RF, was it? Rage, Fire, Chasm. Anyway, going back to my Warlock, pretty much what we're looking at. I just want to check that the sound's coming through. I'll just get the Warlock. That sounds fine. So this is an update of WoW Classic where we stand after, I guess it's just after a month now, August 22nd. We've gone through September 27th. And I've always been someone who says, and I've been up to other people in other guilds and other groups that I've raided with, when I've come in, they start a class, they start playing with ults, and, you know, and you as a DPS, there's only so much you can do within a guild if there's tanks. The officers are tanks and healers, you know, it's sort of a monopoly on power. And as DPS, you know, you can be replaced no matter how good you are, but if you're above the curve in gear, and it's because you're so focused on one class and you push that class to the limit, then, you know, you... Oh, what a ride. You, you hope that people share the same sort of ambitions with you, and it means you're on the same gear level. So I for the first time did that. I started off mage, got the gear, and then I just wanted to be the Warlock. And I guess if I bothered to double check the Felguard, I probably would have not been so chasing. But the mage, the mage is incredible leveler. So best advice I can give you, if you're looking for a quick, fast class to level, it's going to be not a blast until you hit your AoE capabilities, which is level 24 up to your early 30s. Between that on the mage, once you start hitting that 30s, every level after that, you're getting stronger and stronger as a mage, and your AoE capabilities just go up. So leveling capabilities, just you can really level incredibly fast, you know, because you don't have to do so much in the way of quests. You can just do the mobs, and I've seen mages who I was 5 or 6 levels above. Okay, they may have been playing 12 hours a day, but they were gaining 4 levels a day on me almost. And I remember I was 40, and a particular friend of mine was 34, 36, somewhere. I think he actually just turned 35. And I was having a bit of a chuckle, and next thing I know, he was 39, and I was 40, 41. And I thought, what the hell? And then we were both around 44 each. And then he just took off. And he was 50. And by the time I got to 50, he would have been 55, 56. And he's probably 60 by now. I haven't bothered to keep up with him. But the truth is, if I stayed with my mage, I would have been 60 about a week or two ago. But like I said, the Warlock's 50, my mage is 34, and I've got a tank at 16. So no complaints. I've put the time in, and I've spread it across 3 characters. So this guy is my enchanter tailor. Now, you probably can see the amount of gold I got here at the moment. So with enchanting, yeah, I've got 214 gold on this. My Warlock through gold, I mage set us up by doing AoE farming. I would say if you were at the start of this expansion, you were a tailor, skinner, um, mage, you could probably made a bucket load of cash because you could skin and kill mobs and all that sort of stuff. And whereas this guy's a pure enchanter tailor, and by AoE down mobs, you can then get that you can directly produce the tailoring quality because you're farming it through killing a lot of humanoids. So basically, I got up around 100 to 150 gold, about 150 gold, by leveling the mage and warlock up to their respective levels, level 40, level 34 on the mage. And then I started to make my money. Actually, sorry, about 70, 80 gold, sorry. And I doubled my income by simply making all the shadow gear for effectively warlocks. So basically, shadow robes, the gloves, the various things, and then the vests. And there was a particular guy on my server that was charging 15 gold for a lot of the stuff, which is huge profit margins at the time, and I'd always undercut him. So people would see his 15 gold, and I put it up for 12 because it's like, oh shit, that's 3 gold cheaper. And there was nothing sweeter than coming in and seeing him putting up more stock and me whacking up stock and playing from home, playing from the home office, playing from on the road, just logging in, quickly making the gear live, having all the mats sitting there, and then building it and putting it up. And then gold, my gold savings went from about 70, 80 gold up to 150 in a space of a couple of days. I think he was getting pissed off. He then started buying my gear out because I dropped my prices really low because the profit margins were high, but it wasn't selling as fast. So I halved my prices down to about 8 gold, and he was still trying to sell everything at 15. Dream vests, gloves, Dreamweaver gloves, Dreamweaver vests. He was selling 15 gold, and I was. Those are about 12. The shadow gear, I dropped down to 7 or 8 gold. So he started to buy me out, and he bought me out a couple of times, and then put my stuff on the market. But so I started chuckling and made one of everything, and just competed with him all the time. I never put more than one of anything on the. So that's just a little bit of old school, because I used to dominate the AHA market back in the day, back in the normal. What was it, Wrath of Lich King, going into the next expansion. That's all I did, was play that. It was messes. You don't play the game, you actually just play the little stock market. I said, yeah, pretty much. But anyway, that's where I made up to about 150 gold, and there's a warlock. And I think the main reason I wanted my warlock to level the warlock is I wouldn't have the big cost of paying for the riding skill and then buying them out. I believe that's upwards of 90 gold. So while I was sort of going, right, I got to that level 40, and I saw a few people around me that I'd been leveling with through different guilds and friends made through the game. They were spending their 70 to 90 gold, or 70 to, whatever it is, around that, between 70 and 90 gold, riding skill plus them out, on investing and buying a mount. I, as a warlock, got it for free. And off I went. And I thought, well, I've saved that money. I have the money, 70 to 80 gold, so I invested it in the club. And so getting my chanting skill up to, Tulling's 250, I think my chanting's 150 or more. I could be wrong. Let's have a quick gander. 170, sorry, there we go. Higher. And I'm about to pump it up. Now, I did hit a bit of a plateau. Coming up to level 45, I was really struggling for quest and everything. And I'll just say, you just get a lot of caffeine, suck it up, grind, hit the quests, and get strong enough to get into the hinterlands. Once you hit 45, the hinterland quests, for whatever reason, all of those quests were coming with massive amounts of golds. The rewards of gold, and a lot of the gear wasn't for me. It was all mail and plate gear. Otherwise, I'd be wearing it. And so your mileage may vary, because you might actually think, hey, that's an upgrade. For me and my warlock and my mage, I buy gear of the eagle. And as I got to level 40 and started, I've changed my spec a couple of times. So I've spent 15, 10. So I've spent about 40 odd gold or more on respecs. So I've done a couple of respecs, which if I had beta access, I could have played with. But getting to hinterlands may help me. I was around the I got to 160, then I spent money on enchanting and tailoring, and I got down as low as about 138, 136 gold. Going through the Hinterlands quest zone from level 45 onwards. By the time I come out of that, mana gear dropped, a couple of blues, just they didn't make me massive gold, 9 gold here, 9 gold there, but tons of items, a lot of quests, a few dungeons, and in the space of, say, today's Wednesday, so in the last 2 days, 2.5 days, I've gone from about 130, 40 gold to 230. I had 236. I just spent 5 buying my level 50 spells. Now I only buy ones that I use. I don't buy them all. If I did, I'd probably be about 30 gold down. But so playing the AH got me half my gold, and then the rest was just getting in the Hinterlands and getting those high level quests, and that's when the money just rained in, and I got up to a gold. And another thing, a lot of the quests in the Hinterlands is killing trolls, and they drop that wild vine. And I tell you what, on my server, it's got as high as 1 gold per each. It does vary. So sometimes I think I was telling people about it, and I was like, I shouldn't tell people because you don't want too much competition. But that wild vine was selling really well, and like I said, when I originally was buying at the start of the expansion, it was about 12 silver, and then it surged up to 60, 90. 1 gold is about the highest I've seen it. Yeah, he gets 59, 60 gold average by the looks of it at the moment using auctioneer. So there's tons of other things that make money, and I got to say, and another way where I made bank on money was silk bandages. I just want to check this is all going through, because you don't want to. Yeah. So whether this is possible in your server now, I think people have caught on. I would constantly on my mage and my warlock always log into the AH. I might be just having. I thought I'm just going to have a break, so I log out on my warlock and then log in the mage who's sitting in front of the undead auction house. Quickly go to the silk and see that the silk. No offense, sorry, I'm going to just label you dumbasses. Are selling silk stacks of 20 for less than 2 silver each. I saw it as low as 1.5 or even low as 1.35 silver per silk. Now, if you don't know, 1 silk bandage is 2 silver, and heavy is heavy is 4 obviously, so that's double. But that's 2 silk, so you expect it to be. If it was 5 or 6, it'd be even better. But so what that means is, if you could get silk for less than 2 silver, you're making a profit. So let's just have a look. Let's see, because this is all live. I'm not pre-recording on, trying to make anything special. Auctioneer, where are we? And I'm honestly trying to, I'm trying to shuffle cloth, because this is how I used to make money before with enchanting and clothing. There we go, $1.67. Okay, so we've only got a little bit, so that's not massive. So everything over here, I can't make money out of. And what I mean by making money is just making bandages and selling them direct to a vendor. Because when you're selling less than 2 silver with silk, you're selling under vendor cost, which means that I think the auction house takes a 5% cut, or might be more, might be 10%. So you're selling at really a loss there. So, and I've seen like a whole screen and several stacks of 20s around $1.50, 160s. People just trying to offload, and all they had to do was turn that into, if they're going to sell at that price, turn them into silk bandages. So I was buying up stuff. I think at one stage just spent 15 to 30 gold buying silk bandages, a silk cloth that were under 2 silver each. Some of it was, between as low as 1.95, so it's not massive profit margin. But other times it was 1.5, 1.3, and I took it all and I had bags and bags of full, and I just turned them all silk bandages and sold it and made. And it wasn't massive money, but it as I said, this is how I went from about 80 gold to 150 gold like that. And then in the last 2 days, I've increased my gold wealth by 100 gold, and that's not because I've sold some crazy thing. And I only buy leveling up to level 35 to 40 on the mage and the warlock. I was going with Gear of the Eagle, simply because stamina and intelligence, bigger mana pool, more life, especially for the warlock. Life tap equals mana, and off we go. And that, more life, more mana, boom, boom, boom. And so that's how I made a lot of my gold. It's playing the auction house. I'm trying to work out a routine to turn tailoring and enchanting, disenchanting bits into more gold. But all I can simply say is, get out there quests, get into the higher quests, and yeah, avoid buying tons of stuff, but buy what you know, stamina, strength, whatever like that, whatever you call to your characters. I might be telling you stuff that's pretty straightforward, but that's, you know, I haven't been trying hard. I was trying to work out how can I afford anything. If I keep going it this way, I should be very close to my when I hit 60, having the money for my what do you call it, the top mount, and this is before you can even start farming the bigger dungeons and the more wealthier quests and stuff. Yeah, so but still making a fortune, and there's probably other shuffles out there that, you know, like I said, there's so many ways to make gold. It's not funny, but honestly, if you're a mage and a tailor and a skinner, and you start AOEing, and every 5 levels past 24, you're going to get stronger and stronger in that AOE capability. The mobs are going to get tougher, but you're going to get more powerful. And if you have tailoring, you could take those things, and you know, you could have made those mats out of them. I don't know if it's viable now, but because there's so much stuff up there, it's not funny. And skinning, because there's so many mobs you could skin. Like the warlock, I don't know, I probably made more money. But tailoring for the warlock has made me probably more money, simply because I was able to make shadow gear. And once I hit about level 35, as close as I got to 40, I started to make my own gear. So you can see I've got made by Warlock, Dreamweave Circuit, Dreamweave Gloves. I've got Shadow Eagle Gear Belt. I got the Mage Red Pants, so that's intelligence, and again 14 to magic spells and heals. I've just got Eagle Pants. I have got spell power boots and wrists, but I prefer having more stamina at the moment. This is good up to level 50, if not higher. Hypnotic Blade. This is from the Hinterland quest, the Flask of the Forest Mojo. I think it's part of the elite quests. There's literally, when you get the Hinterlands and you're the right level, I think it might be 47 is the right level to trigger all the big elite quests. You want to get in there, and you want to get in there and start spamming, looking for group, about doing the elite quest with a group. I did it with a warrior and three other hunters, and we stayed, and everyone got all the quests done, and everyone was at different levels, but we all stayed. It took 2-3 hours, and this is one of the rewards, and for me, I think that's pretty good. Another one of the rewards, if you're melee, is this one. It's useless to me. 20% attack power, 1 chance to hit. Now, as you can see, I thought it might apply to spell power, but as you can see, it says 0. So I'm running out an add-on that tells me my abilities. At the moment, I've got 131 shadow damage spell power and 114 to all my other spell power. So as a warlock, I've got shadow, which is one of most of my spells, and then fire. And the only thing I've got to work out, I'm sure Shadow Bolt is a shadow spell, but it's buffed in the fire tree. Don't know why, but it's getting a boost. I keep forgetting about Soulfire, but Soulfire, that's a great spell. It's good to just almost one-shot stuff. And before I do it, I'll chuck on Curse of Elements onto a target, which means it drops the resistances and increases damage taken by 6%, which is even better. So 6% of, say, 600, what's that, 60? Yeah, 40, 50. So it pushes the damage up, minus crits and stuff. And then this one is, removes bleeds. Yeah, so honestly, these two, I'm carrying 3 gold, giving myself ball bag space, and I'm going to sell those because they're pretty much useless for me. I'm looking for this ring. I think someone stuffed up on the auction house. I got this for 75 silver. 75.80 for silver. I saw it as high as 30, and I've seen 2 or 3 go up. Even though I've got 230 gold, I'm too squeaky. I'm not paying 30 gold for it. I was trying to justify it yesterday and say, well, look, if I got that one for 30, I can say I got both for 15 each. That's still a pretty good price. But I'd rather just play the game. Someone was advertising this one, this is the baby that I've seen up several times. This is the ultimate one, shadow damage, stamina and spirit, but it's usually selling for 300 gold. So I'm not going to spend 300 gold on a ring that I know I think that's best in raid slot. I'm not sure. There's an add-on here. I'm going to do a separate video for my add-ons. I know I'm talking around a little bit, but look, it shows my spell power, shows my spell healing, shows my mana regeneration, shows my critical strike. My defenses now. If you're melee, you can change it to show melee. You know, that's my hit change ranged. If you're hunter, now that's my 1 damage. Oh, range attack plus 114. Oh, so I get a boost to my natural damage. Okay, because the wand's natural damage. Oh yes, and this wand's I think a reward in Hinterlands as well. Nature's Breath. If not, you can Google it. But Hinterlands, honestly, and those elite quests, it's just a bucket load of cash. I'm now about to go. I've got optimal choices. I'm looking for any quest that show 1.5, 2 gold, 1.5 to 2 gold per quest, and there's 2 or 3 areas I can go. So I'm going to try to maximise that. I'm also looking for gear. I'm also googling to find which gives the best gear at the moment. So then we've got defences, obviously, if you tank. But we'll go back to base stats. And we'll go to range. That must be my... That's pretty good. Yes, I'm using... this is item rack. So I had 2 sets. I had all my gear. I had what I call a leveling gear. I had all my best eagle gear. So everything was eagle gear. And so my life goes up by 1,000. My spell power drops to basically 30, if that, or 20. And I think my mana goes up to nearly 4. Well, I think it's over 4,000, or up to 4,000 now. So I go to 3, 4. So it means I'm a lot stronger. And I think sometimes that's smarter because you wear down the ability. But I don't know. In dungeons, this makes me really powerful. So that's how I've made 200-300 gold before I'm 60. I think from mid 50s getting up to 60 and hitting 60. Honestly, you're meant to farm at 60 for your I keep saying exotic mount, the top mount, and for Warlock it's a big quest dynamic. So I don't think I've seen too many. Oh, I think I've seen 1 or 2 Warlock mounts. I've seen more people on the undead mounts and stuff in the Undercity. And now let's talk about Warlock specs. People say, what are you level with or whatever. Honestly, they're so effective. Look, it's all boiled down to, it should be all about fun and what you enjoy. I started off one way and I changed and come back, changed and come back. So I've spent 1 gold to change, then the next one's 5, the next one's 10, next one's 15. So that's what I've spent. I've done 4 changes. And I was pissed that I thought if I got access to the beta, I could have done this as a tester. And so that's another 40 odd gold. 10, 50, that's what's that? 25, 30. All right, 30 to 40 gold there. At least 30 gold anyway. So I decided to go demonology, and the reason being the incredible life buff, the boost of this guy when I'm in dungeons. It just helps the rest of the party survive. The DPS from my succubus, so if I want to just focus on pure DPS, I usually just run around with her and me, and this again is good because it gives me a 15% more stamina, and again with the eagle gear that just goes up even further. And you can see the power, and this has been a lifesaver. So I don't want to sacrifice my pet too much, but there's 2 things I've been doing now. So one, I've actually been using my Void Walker more, because the reality is, classic, you're lucky to beat 2 mobs at once, unless you're a mage where you can do the mass AoE thing. But if you take more than 2 or 3 mobs of your level, or say even 2 or 3 levels lower than you, it's quite surprising. You can get overwhelmed, and you suddenly start getting really hurt badly, and you're dead. The great thing about this is I can then sacrifice my Void Walker, which gives me a shield, which firstly is interruptible for spellcasting, so that means I can attack and drain life without being interrupted. It gives me, I think, an extra 1,500 life on top of my life. So normally, the best way is, I thought, you got to preempt it, honestly. You don't wait till you're down to the lowest things because you're pushing it. So I think you get within 50%, you reckon, there's 2 or 3 mobs on you. You sacrifice your Void, because they do bugger all damage. They don't really hold aggro. It's just like a life battery tap for you. So you sacrifice him, you get the shield for another 1,000, 1,500 life. you focus on killing a mob, drain their life tap, get your mana back. You know, off you go, depending on other pots and stuff you got. And then, as you're sort of going through that play, you then hit Fell Domination. I'm trying to work, yeah, there, Fell Domination, which is almost, well, because you've got Master Demonology, it makes your Summon Woodwalker almost instant. So you bring that up. So you sacrifice the first Woodwalker, and then boom, you got your second Woodwalker up. You throw him in. He's doing very, very low DPS. He's not going to probably pull aggro off any of the mobs you got. But then again, you're using him to go sacrifice. So you know, if you're getting down to 50% life again, you want to, one, sacrifice the second mob, bring your shield up again, get your life back up, life tap a bit, pop a healthstone, then a life potion, so you're back to possibly full mana, full life through life tapping, and then you just basically, you know, just use a massive amount of life to get past those mobs, and that's the great one. And how I've been running is basically with the succubus out, and she's got a 20% buff. She's doing tremendous DPS, and then with this one, you're getting a 10% bonus to all your abilities, all your damage abilities. So all your shadow and fire are getting 10%, and you know, not bad. And then you can then use Soul Link. Now Soul Link can catch you out too. So Soul Link means if you're getting the shit kicked out of you, which tends to happen because the aggro comes on you, your pet's life drops very quickly, and you do extra DPS, but it can drop very quickly. So if you're using that Voidwalker trick, you've got to keep your eye on it, because that's where suddenly you think, well, I'm fine, my life's fine, and you realise your Voidwalker's gone from 70% life down to 15% life, and if you're not paying attention, you won't be able to sacrifice him because he's dead. So you got to be smart about it and be careful. So you can turn that on and off, and it's not automatically on. So you have to, you know, initiate it when you summon a new pet. So, you know, giddy up. But it does. You've got plenty of excuses to hold on to an elite, and again, you have your soul stone on you. I've got a greater soul stone, so throw that all in. If you've got your head in the right spot and you don't panic, you've got ability to stay alive for quite a bit. So that's not too bad. And then what I did is I went into, and I've got 2 points sitting there. I'm just going to work out which direction I'm going to go in. I threw 2 points, 5 points into improve corruption, because I just wanted that instant cast corruption. And I was only going to go with 2 suppression, but I was getting a lot of spells resisted. And I noticed when I was 5-5 on a previous spec, I didn't have too much trouble in resistation. And going to 3, I'm noticing they're not resisting my spells as much. So I thought 3, that's more than enough. And then I may go down this tree where I'm here, and this gives me, you know, go boom boom, shadow bolt, or, you know, go into this one. So if I get these 2 up, that's 10 levels. So that's going to be in my mid 50, well, very close to 60. So I've got to sit down and just work out my path. I don't think there's anything else in the demonology tree I want to prove. I decided to go one chunk of each. Thought, yeah, that'll add up. Most people say go prove life tap, and I'm like, we'll see. I'll sit down and work things out what I feel best, but I will invest these points very soon. But what I've been doing at the moment, because I've got such high, well, 131 damage to my shadow and 114 to my fire, I've been actually summoning my Fell Hunter and sacrificing the Fell Hunter. So what? And you thought, what? What are you talking about? Because at the end of the day, what stops the Warlock pulling out DPS? And pretty much, in this classic spec, in classic, you're constantly getting smashed in the face. Whereas you don't really experience that in all the other expansions, because the void tank is a tank. And like when I started playing in Burning Crusade in May of 2008, the Voidwalker could hold good aggro, and you could drain tank off him pretty well. And this classic, you will aggro most of the mobs that are being tanked or tagged, not instantly, but pretty quickly, and you're getting smacked in the face anyway. So by having 2% of your total mana coming back to you every 4 seconds, it's not bad. And what I was finding is that that's about 70, 80 mana coming back to me with abilities and stuff. I'm I'm going to throw all my eagle gear on, just see where this takes me. If you're running dungeons that up, I just want to make sure there's so many different specs you can do, like a full affliction spec where you go, you take improve. See, this is 10%. I don't know. I think you get these ones. You go here, you get fell concentration. There's no point getting 10% here if you're constantly getting interrupted all the time. You're losing that ability. Pumping that up to 4 or 5 is pretty good. And getting Siphon Life, Shadow Mastery, and going Dark Pack where you turn your Succubus into basically a drain tank. You suck all the mana, and I noticed when I've come out of the spec and it's 12-second whip time, she's constantly got a lot of mana. So I'm really torn with the idea of getting this one down to 6. I did go full destruction side as well, and when that was 6 seconds, she was really whipping hard. I can only imagine if I can get to that. I'm going to have to work out if we can get to that somehow, or I have to respec, because there may be points I may be able to trim out of this tree and see where we go. But let's just quickly throw my eagle gear on. Okay. Just want to throw on. So I've got Robes of the Lich. I've got a bit of shadow damage gear that I've stuck away. Okay. Let's see what we've got here. Oh no, I deleted it. Sorry, I deleted it. So let's throw that on. So it's with my imp. So nearly 3,200 life. So I think that's a 1,200 increase. I'm not sure I got all my best gear on. Let's just have a look. And I think there's better stuff on the AH I can get now. Oh yeah, the rings. So that's pretty good, and that's another Hinterland quest reward as well, I believe. Yeah, I think I can get better shoulders, better head, possibly better other stuff on that, and yeah, because I haven't been focusing on it because I've got all the spellfire gear. So 3,200 with my imp power, it's not too bad. A little bit less. The imp's giving me 30 stamina buff as well, so it's not too bad. So that's a lot of life and mana to 4,000 mana. So that's a lot to sort of wear down a mob. But my spell power, as you can see, drops to 12. So let's just press one button, and that takes me back to that item rack. Did that? I've just pressed. I've set up a hotkey to take me back. As you can see, my spell power goes to 131. My life drops back to 2,600 because the imp's out. Yeah. Okay. So let's just put that all away again. So there's some really nice gear I've got there in the blues. Coming up. I've got so much stuff on me, not funny. Alright, so far from a masterclass. As I said, this is live. I may have sort of jump left and jump right. All I'm suggesting is if you probably mage every 5 levels past 24, you're going to get way stronger, and your speed level. They gave the speed for leveling. Let me just phrase this. They say a hunter, warlock, and then mage. I would probably suggest that hunter may be up there. Hunter and mage are Hunter and warlock are probably up there close, but I think a mage is far up there if you do the AoE grind. I have just seen players just come out of nowhere and pass me by 5 levels. Now I don't know if they're 16-hour days or whatever, but I know they're grinding, and like I said, I got the 34 on my mage pretty easy, pretty quick. This demonology spec with a bit of in affliction has given me great survivability. My DPS is strong. I did play destruction with conflag and all the rest of it, and I really loved it because I had a lot of instant cast spells. I did tremendous damage. I was massive threat. And leveling, I was like point, boom, 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 boom. I was like a shotgun blaster, but the problem was if it was more than one mob, I was dead. I got tired of dying pretty quick. So going this way has given me the flexibility. I did get bored of the heavy affliction, dark pack, master, shadow master, and basically I was maxed out foul concentration and improved drain life, where basically you're dotting up everything and then just drain lifing it down, and I just felt it was just, yeah. I'm still doing it now, and the reason I went the other specs is how less effective was it. And I got to be honest, not going full down this way, it's still quite decent to be able to drain life, and you still can do it well enough, because the bonus to drain life and stuff isn't that really noticeable. The concentration is if you're getting attacked, but because you've got huge bonuses to damage to your pets, especially with the succubus out, it makes life even easier. I'm gonna just quickly go ranged, and I'm gonna summon her in, summon her in to see if she has an effect on this at all.
Now what?
Oh, she does too. She does indeed increase my wand attack. Okay, well that is interesting. Oh yeah, so all my damage. Wow. I didn't realise she affected my range damage so much. So wow, that's pretty good. No wonder I was running around with that. And her DPS is pretty decent too. So she's doing 66 damage. And the key thing is, if we can get this ability, Prove Lash of Pain, it drops 2 in it. It drops it down to 6, because her Lash of Pain is 95. And we drop that down to 6. That basically doubles her DPS. I don't know how much that takes her overall damage up. Well, that Lash of Pain can really hit hard, and throw in the fact that I got shadow damage, maybe that helps as well. Not 100% sure. But anyway, I've talked long enough. Play the AH. The way pricing has changed. Sell a lot of stuff. Get into the hinterlands quest as soon as possible. I'm level 50, and it's time for me to get going because it's getting late in the day. Alright, thanks for tuning in, and enjoy my ramble for the good 40 odd minutes. So, hasta la vista, baby. I'll be back.
Hehehehe And then another. And then